How do 3 game store owners decide what products to carry in their store? Stick around to find out. Welcome to the Dice, Cards, and Coffee VideoCast. I'm Dustin from BG's Tabletop.
I'm Dave from Fire and Dice.
And George from Gaming Grounds.
And we are a videocast talking all about tabletop games. We started this videocast because we are also launching a convention here in Los Angeles called LFG Con. So if you are interested in joining us for the Tabletop Gaming Convention in Los Angeles, we're going to be hosting our premier first-time convention June 13th. But it's Father's Day weekend, 2025. So not 2024 if you're watching in 2024. It's actually next year. But today we're talking about how we decide what to order for our stores. We're talking about maybe what that process looks like, what product lines we currently carry, how we decide to bring on new product lines, how we continue to carry the same products, or if we want to continue with those products. But before we get into the episode topic today, we're going to go with our What's Hot segment. So for our What's Hot segment, we talk about not necessarily like super popular games, but maybe just what's popular, what's hot in our stores, something that's current and happening in our store, or with us, maybe just as a gamer individually, a game we've been playing that we've really enjoyed. So I'll go first. Since I think you guys, I don't know if you guys have something ready yet, but maybe. Lorcana Store Championship is very hot for, I know Day ran one. We ran ours this past weekend. How many players did you guys have?
I believe we kept the 32 is our cap. But yeah, I mean, the promos it's pretty sweet, you know. Stitch, popular
those
Disney
promos
character.
are hot.
Yeah, well, for the third-party market, yeah, it is hot.
George, do you know what the Stitch promos are? Because I know you guys kind of are going to start doing some Lorcana again here soon in your store.
Yeah, we're still thinking about it.
Still thinking about it.
No, I don't know about the promos.
So the top 4 of each store championship, just for any store that did it, got a Stitch promo. Can you guess how much those cards are selling for? Just one card online. Can you guess?
$25.
Solid guess, I guess.
No, I'd say a real guess. Let's say 150.
I couldn't tell if that was a real guess.
150.
That's a solid guess.
Yeah, that's not bad.
That's a reasonable guess. I would say.
Those are like store championship Magic promos.
Okay.
Or go for maybe like 80 to 150. I would say.
So what's it going for?
Market.
What's the reveal?
I would say like between 500 and 700.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
$500.
$500.
I like Stitch. Stitch is awesome.
Disney collectors are real. That's all you gotta say.
Yeah,
like, that's pretty cool.
The market proves.
I mean, it's awesome of like Ravensburger to provide promo support like that. You wonder if that's why that they go for that much. I mean, you mentioned Disney collectors, right? But there's so many stores doing it, so there's got to be a lot out there.
Right.
I guess, but supply and demand, right?
Like, yeah, there's a lot more people that want it.
And then collector wise, it's people know that every store only got 4 of these or whatever amount these promos are. And if these collectors are done getting set 3-packs, set 2-packs, or whatever, then what's the next thing for them to collect, right?
You guys didn't tell me about this. I would have came and played in your event. I mean, seriously.
Yeah,
Were there any like fights in the top 4 or what, like to get there?
I mean, they were fighting with their decks, but I don't think there was any, like air.
There's definitely been some drama online with stores. And stuff.
Yeah.
Because
that's fun.
When you have that kind of amount of money and promo support, there's of course gonna be some bad apples. Ruining things.
Yeah, stores that just like sell the promos. Not. I don't know if it's real, but I saw some people post about stores hosting a fake tournament.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff like that.
I'm sure that's happened.
It is very unfortunate that it exists.
Yeah.
But, I hope Ravensburger can dig in and find out these stores,
Yeah.
you know, cut them off from their supply and all that stuff.
Yeah, because for me, it's awesome if you're a player and you get to the top 4 and you get this really cool card.
Yep,
you know, and some of them won't even sell it, right? Because they're like, oh,
Yeah,
it's cool to have.
Yeah.
It is a prize, right? Like,
yeah.
That's true. That's probably part of the supply and demand too, because not everybody that wins those cards are selling those cards.
Right.
Yeah, that's why these tournaments are hot. People are trying to find out where they're hosted, and then they'll travel to play in them. You know,
Yeah.
and a lot of spikes out there traveling to win as many as they can so they can flip it.
Yeah, that was shocking to me. $500, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And then they also have top gets a playmat that says champion, and then second gets
cool.
a playmat that's no champion on it. It says loser. No, I'm just
Yeah.
Almost.
and those are like I don't know
Almost
how much those go
I think
for.
100 the last time I saw
not as
people
much,
post
but-
about.
Well, that's
So that's what's
cool.
hot for me. How about you guys? What's hot for you as far as like your store, just personally?
I mean, Sword Champ Given, that's for sure was hot. But we had Star Wars Unlimited. We offered a slow grow league, which uses booster packs to build a deck, and you play each other for points and stuff. And that just ended on Sunday, last Sunday, with a tournament with the decks you built, and it was people enjoyed it. You know, it's a good way to get people who don't want to commit too much on the game and just get a pack here and there, and then they can enjoy playing the game. You know, so that was pretty popular. Everyone enjoyed it. Unfortunately, product is very scarce, so we can't continue to do it. So
bummer.
we're doing we're gonna do another league. We don't know if it's gonna be as hot, but it's gonna be the Twin Suns format, which is like a commander style format. So
I was mentioning to both of you guys before, Star Wars Unlimited is my favorite TCG right now. I don't like Star Wars lore as much. I mean, I don't dislike it, but if I liked Star Wars lore, I would buy a lot of this product. I would be playing a lot of it.
yeah,
I would have probably a couple different decks, but now right now I just have a deck with whatever cards I have lying around, a Twin Suns deck, and then I play one of the starters. The Darth Vader starter is not too bad.
they're strong. I mean, the Luke starter is also good if they can't handle the shield the situation. But the starter decks are really good. It's very good bang for your buck.
Yeah.
Like it can carry you.
That's
very
very
well.
good that you can buy a starter deck and actually be.
Oh
you
yeah,
know,
that's
have a
definitely
good game
important
with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because some TCG is not like that. You buy the starter and it's
But
just
yeah.
it's kind of
Star Wars for a new game. Star Wars is very very hot.
How about George? What's hot for you?
Yeah, so right now I guess it would be Dungeons and Dragons. We're starting a new one-shot campaign. A couple players and DMs from our last when we ran it before kind of petered out, and they've kind of rejuvenized it, and it's like that's what's hot right now. Yeah, we're getting 2 to 3 sessions a week, and they're full, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's about community building that space, and it's really cool to see it. So
Yeah,
that's what.
And then correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I recall, you guys actually run your own like campaign. You guys don't use like a official D&D hardcover book campaign and stuff.
No. So we have 2 different things. We have one that's a long-term campaign, and the DM's allowed to just do whatever they want.
Okay.
And then the new campaign we're starting is based in the Forgotten Realms, and the DMs have a lot of leeway, but the storyline is kind of set.
Okay.
And they all work together
Yeah.
to get those players through it. But those are all one-shot adventures.
Yeah. I personally like that, having a community that's playing, their own D&D story per se,
cool.
instead of following like a hardcover book,
Yeah.
which is great. Don't get me wrong. A lot of great hardcover D&D adventures.
Yeah.
But I really like the idea of coming up with your own.
Yeah.
Even if it's within the same setting, but their own storyline or something.
Yeah. It's really cool. It's a lot of fun. So that's what's hot for us.
Nice. So that's our What's Hot segment. Let's jump into our topic, which is about ordering product for our stores. So first, I think the best way to start this topic for us is to go each of us and talk about like what our ordering process looks like, just how we do it as far as like, do we go on a computer, do we get phone calls, and then also talk about like the product lines we carry. Maybe let's start with the product lines we carry first, and then go to ordering.
Yeah, because we are 3 different stores. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, we do have our we have some overlap for sure, but then we
Specialty, I guess. You could call it.
Yeah, we kind of focus on different things, which is cool.
So how about George? Why don't you start as far as what products you carry in your store, just to give a high level perspective to everyone.
So, I mean, majority of our inventory is board games. So
it's not food.
Well,
that's the other side of the business. The cafe model, but yeah.
I mean, the food is like you're getting every day. You're getting in it. Board games we're ordering every maybe month and a half right now.
Okay.
But yeah, I'd say most of the stuff is through 3 distributors that we have, but board games are really the thing that we carry the most of. We have very little TCGs, and then lastly, like the accessories like dice and minis. We have a lot of minis for our D&D players. We could have more, but we do have some of that. So, there's a bunch of different things that we carry.
So you got board games, dice, minis. You also do a little bit of like ancillary products, maybe is what you would call it, like coffee mugs. Like where would you go? Like a paper
candles.
source. Like if you went to a paper source store, it would be some of the stuff that you'd see
we
there.
have pens, stickers, candles, a little tiny retail section that people seem to really like.
Yeah.
We have puzzles and things like that. Yeah.
Cool. How about you, Day?
A lot of TCG stuff, and then we got like D&D section, the hardcover books, battle mats, all the dice accessories, trays, towers. Hard to find good towers, interesting enough.
Yeah. And
It's true.
for us, we're such a small store and they take up space.
Then
the foldable ones are like I don't mind selling them, but also
hard to find some good towers.
Yeah.
Minis have changed a lot for us, actually. We used to carry a lot of the unpainted minis, but then we noticed more and more people start to ask about the blister boxes, the blind blisters. They're kind of like booster packs.
Popular.
Yeah, you don't know where you get until you open it, and that
But
came a
they're
little
all
bit more popular. So we've been kind of shifting our space to have more of those and the unpainted ones. So
Right.
that's kind of interesting from that part. But yeah, TCG, all the TCG accessories, bunch of sleeve, deck boxes, play mats, like binders. Yeah.
And also, if you are listening and tuning in today, be sure to check out our TCG episode because we dive deep into like that part of your store's product line. I would say, like we talk quite a bit about how we decide what to order and why for TCGs.
Yeah.
Cool.
What
for
about
me,
you, Dustin? Yeah.
I feel like both of what you guys carry, I carry.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah.
I carry
A little bit of everything, right?
Yeah, we do board games, TCGs. We do Warhammer. Warhammer's been really good for us since we've started carrying that. What else? We do you do singles too.
Oh, yeah, singles.
TCG singles.
It's different. It's different because we can't really order the singles.
Yeah, true. That's true. You can't order. Yeah,
there were some customers who were like, "Oh, do you have this card in stock? Oh no, we don't have this. Oh, can you order it for me?" I'm just like, "Oh, it doesn't work like that."
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about that. But I guess it's part of your inventory, but it's not something we order.
Yeah, we.
What else? We also have like a little just front section of our store. It's one shelf of like what I guess like Etsy kind of stuff.
Oh,
we
okay.
also do like educational, like a shelf for educational games.
Yeah.
And then we do tabletop RPGs like indie RPGs and D&D and stuff too. I think that's everything that we do.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of different categories that you got to choose, pick and choose which one you want to carry. Yeah. Also depends on your retail space, right? You can't carry everything.
Yeah. Do you guys decide like how much space to take up with each product?
Oh yeah.
Like it's depending on how much money it's making, or how do you guys do that?
For sure, popularity wise, and how much of it we can actually order, right? Like so,
So if you get a bunch
like Star Wars and One Piece can't keep them in stock,
Right.
so there actually is no
there's no
there's no space for them
very
because
little.
there's no product for it.
Right.
Like Pokemon boomed, and at a certain point there was almost no product, but now there's ample products.
Okay.
So now we have a large retail space for it.
Okay.
Magic, we've always had a pretty solid retail space for it. D&D also.
Yeah.
Our D&D section is actually quite
It's
big.
pretty sizable.
It's actually more sizable than our Magic, I think.
Yeah.
It might be because of the books. The books are pretty big.
Right. You need the space.
Yeah, you
with
need
all
the space for it,
The
for
things
sure.
that they sell. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
But
product size, like the actual size of the product,
yeah.
is important too. I mean, you asked like how. For me, it's just gut. I would love to be able to like drill down into the numbers, but I don't have the bandwidth or capacity to get there yet. That was one of my goals for this year when I went to Gamma. Is like I want to start creating more KPIs, which is like, what does that stand for? Key process indicators. Is that the right? But it basically looking at like certain things in the business, like how much singles we're buying and how much we're selling, square foot per dollar that we make for it. So things like that I can like look at from a month-to-month basis and see how that number changes. But yeah, do you do square foot per dollar in your store for inventory?
Not precisely, but yes. So like if anything is hot or selling, we do allocate more space for it. So like our dice section was not really moving, and we kind of gave it more space, and now we're selling a lot more of it. I think if you give product space too,
no, that's true.
You're going to sell
people
it.
see more of something, they might
Exactly.
start picking bits of it.
And also where you display it too. So like you might have a product somewhere in one spot and it doesn't move, but then you move it and it sells really well. And you're like, oh, maybe it is a good seller. People just aren't interacting with it in a way that would make them purchase it.
Yeah.
There is a word for that actually, but I don't know on top of my head. But I've definitely heard of it. Where you place product or how you place it definitely draws people to it.
It's product placement.
Product placement, yeah. I guess that would be the word for
it. There's it's called the Retail Bible. People refer to it as the Retail Bible.
Okay.
But that's not the actual name of the book. But it's by someone. I'm gonna look it up while we're talking. But he talks about a lot of things. One thing that was super interesting that I had listened to in the audiobook, that if you're trying to get people to purchase a product, put it to the right of a very popular product, and people will buy it. I haven't really experimented with that.
I guess
but
it depends on what country you're in, right? If you're reading left to right or right to left.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense, because they're there for the popular product, and then what's next to it, some other product. We don't have it, but I know some stores have it. Is the checkout, the little Nixon ad, whatever you call it.
We have those.
Yeah, the checkout counter, I guess you call it. Man, I'm just brain farting on all these terminologies.
Point of purchase, but it's
it's like a last minute thing to grab. We don't have a space for that, but I know there's a lot of stores that have that, and it works out.
It's called Why We Buy by Paco Underhill.
Why We Buy.
That's a good book if you're thinking about going into retail sales.
All right. Why We Buy. Maybe after 10 years, I'll have to look into it.
But yeah, I guess, so we talked about our product lines, and now everyone kind of has an overview of what we carry in our store. Let's talk about how we actually order product and what outlets we order from. Let's go in reverse order. I'll start. And I think it's going to be a lot of overlap, though. So
probably
we use 1, 2, 3 of the 5 main distributors. I would say there's Alliance, ACD, Southern Hobby, PhD, GTS.
Did you say Asmodee already?
Asmodee, yeah. I guess they're
like
kind of a main one.
Almost.
Yeah, they're like a publisher / distributor.
Yeah.
So we order through ACD, Alliance, and PhD. And then also we order direct from publishers for certain games. Like, for example, there's one publisher in particular that is exclusive to maybe one distributor, and we don't work with that distributor, so we have to order through them direct. And then sometimes we'll place just randomly, like there is a indie RPG publisher that is also carried at Alliance, but we get a little bit better deal if we order from them, but we have to order X amount of dollars through them to get the free shipping. So if I have enough to order through them direct, then I'll do it through them. Otherwise I'll pick like one or two at a time through a distributor. What else? I think that's it as far as
what's your
goes.
process of ordering it? So
I mean, us store owners always talk about how user friendly the distributor sites are. Some are better than others. So you have to figure out like ways to navigate their sites and tricks for searching for products and how to like, I don't know, like some I have to drill down and just look at the manufacturer. I can't search the title because I'll have to go to the manufacturer to make sure if the title I searched just isn't showing up. But yeah, we'll use their websites. We get weekly phone calls from certain publishers and distributors. And then, just sometimes direct like emails through publishers and they'll just invoice us.
Yeah, a lot of emails for sure.
Yeah. I don't know. Like we use those same distributors all for different little whatever product line organized play, I guess you could say, is some offer discounts if you're organized play with them, which I kind of hate, but it kind of makes sense because you pick them to be your organized play distributor. So you get a little better deals. Maybe they'll, kick you a little bit more inventory on certain products because you're doing organized play with them. So do you always go for the minimum requirement for the free shipping?
Always.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. You don't?
No, okay, we do, but but at a certain point, it's like, oh man, all this extra stuff we're adding on is is that just dead inventory?
They're like, oh, you're $100 shy.
Like I saved on shipping, but did I really save? Because I spent the extra to have a product that might not sell for a long time.
I think
it's an interesting thought, Yeah, it is definitely an interesting thought.
I think what's interesting, thinking about that from your perspective, you've really honed into the product lines that you carry because you've been around for a while.
So for us, it's a little bit easier to be like, oh yeah, we could just add this to it, But for maybe for sure new stores and whatnot, because if you're thinking about opening a store, they're very stingy on certain products that you can order, and then they kind of force you to get the stuff that really don't sell.
Yeah. A good example, One Piece. I did not get any One Piece until I added
You didn't get one piece of One Piece?
A single piece of One Piece until I added 3 cases or full boxes of deck boxes. And then magically some One Piece showed up on my next invoice and I had some deck boxes with it that are still sitting there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But in the long run, it's worth it because those deck boxes aren't too much, and then I could sell One Piece for a pretty healthy margin.
So when you're trying to dive into a new category that you haven't with your distributor, they'll kind of do that with you, which sucks. But on their side of business things, I understand.
To me, the worst are the back orders. You'll put a back order on.
I really hate back
they're
orders.
Like, we got your back order of 3 games. Yeah, that title's $50, so 700 more.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait a minute.
Yeah,
I know we've talked kind of behind the scenes, but I've had being a new store, cash flow is really difficult for us, and I would say maybe 6 months ago, cash flow was really tough. I'm like, if any back orders show up, then they're gonna ask me to pay for them. There's no way I can pay for them. So I've learned now since then, I'm just hey, clean up my back orders. I don't want these on there anymore. Yep. Just clean them up. It's kind of, it's extra work because you put something in and even in their system, it shows it's in stock. But then when they actually process it, it doesn't show up on the invoice.
Yeah. That's what I hate also. Yeah. On their site, it says, available pre-order, whatever. And then it's actually not.
Yeah. You don't get anything.
Yeah. It's, but back orders, right now, only back orders we have is mainly from Asmodee for us right now.
For Star Wars?
Yeah, Star Wars accessories mainly.
Gotcha.
But they've been pretty good, even past some deck boxes binders they're sold out of, and then he'll call and be like, "Oh, you have these on back orders," and then he'll ask, "Did we want him?" And then he had no issue of taking it off.
Taking them off. And that depends
They're
on the
pretty good about
distributor
that
too.
For sure.
And the product.
I think accessories are fine, but like when it comes to like TCG products, they'll be like, "Oh, you don't want this? Okay."
Yeah,
then
because they can move it really easily.
Yeah. And next time they actually might cut you off,
cut you down
because you didn't want that product that you had on back order.
Right.
Have you guys ever not taken any back orders or stuff? Because that's another thing.
What do you mean not taking? Like tell them, "Hey, we don't want it."
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We've definitely, they'll allocate a certain amount and be like, "Oh, we actually don't need that many." You know, we've done that for sure. But I think back order, it happened once. It might have been Digimon or Dragon Ball. I think it was like as the game was dying.
Okay.
And then like, "Oh, we actually don't need this product." And then they're like, "Oh, but I tried down, so you have to take it." And then, you know, we're like, "Okay, fair enough, whatever, we'll take it." And then, you know, we found someone to just buy it in bulk.
Okay.
But yeah, for sure that kind of instance do happen. And so Magic is very hot topic right now because too much product.
Yeah.
And at the same time, not enough product. And then there's always discussion of like, "Oh, how much should we order this product? Because we had to put in our numbers now." And then if it's a dead product, now we have so much dead thing. And then you have stores that say, "Oh, I don't want any of this product." And then if they don't, then they just can be like, "All right, you're on our shit list." And then next time you're gonna get no product when it's a hot set.
Yeah.
So it's very, very hard to decide. Like, all right,
I would love to know what goes on back behind the scenes. You know, with these distributors, because I'm sure they do. They're like, "Oh, this guy, you know."
I'm pretty sure there's a list. I'm pretty sure there's a list.
Screw this guy.
I'm pretty sure there's a list. You know, but like, "Oh, this." You know, that's why it's good to have good relationships with the distributors. So it's, as a new store without a lot of cash flow, it's definitely hard. It's definitely hard because like, "Oh, I can't afford this product, so we want only 10% of what we ordered." But you did ask for this many, but it wasn't a hot set, and nobody pre-ordered, nobody's buying it. It definitely sucks to have all that inventory.
So when you go and order like your inventory, it's basically just based on what's coming out, right? So different products come out. You're saying, "Oh, we'll get 10 boxes of this. We'll get 100 boxes of this, whatever." Is there a time that like, how long do you have to sit down and like calculate exactly what you need? And like, does that take a long time process for you?
At this point for us, it kind of we almost buy the same amount, if not more at this point. We kind of found the good sweet spot, I guess, to order X amount of boxes per set, no matter what.
Yeah.
And like I said, Magic right now, a lot of products coming out, so it's very hard to decide. You know, we got to get 100 boxes of each set. It's not that anymore. It's like, all right, maybe we can afford 100 boxes of this set, and then this set doesn't look too spicy. Maybe we'll just get 50 boxes or something.
Yeah, but you get boxes of each set. So like you go wide when Magic releases like 300 different products in the month. You're like basically getting them all.
We are getting them all. Yes.
Yeah. I pick and choose.
Well, you're also like, I think it's interesting because it's two different like business models when it comes to Magic specifically too, because you're a store that like
we are like
if
a
someone
Magic store.
comes in, they want to have any Magic product you're looking for, unless it's the one that like is out everywhere, like it's impossible to find everywhere. But if I come to Fire and Dice and I want like a collector pack of this set, I expect you to have it unless I've know that it's almost impossible to find at this point.
Yep. We still have like the unpopular sets, which I think is a really good set, like D&D sets. I really enjoy.
Oh, I like the D&D.
Yeah, people were talking down on it.
Cool. I love rolling the die.
I was like, this is a good set.
Yeah.
And then we still have the product. People still come and buy the collector packs for it.
Baldur's Gate's grown in popularity since it was first released because of the video game, I think partly, and then also I think it's just now I don't know if it's like popular for Magic.
There's some good cards in there for sure for Commander.
Some cards are getting more sought out.
For me, I'm a little envious because, I mean, it will take me 2 to 3, maybe even 4 hours to put a game order together.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
It takes me a very long time.
So
And-
do you order, like, when you say put together a game order, and you order like about once a month through distributors?
Yeah, about once a month.
And are you ordering from all distributors at one time? You're putting
Basically,
it together
yeah.
at once?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
interesting.
Yep.
Okay.
So what I do is I go through my inventory on, through my POS, find out what we've sold. I go through that first and our inventory levels. So whatever's low, I look at and kind of check it. Then I walk the floor and I make sure that first of all the inventory is matched up. It usually is. But then I'll just sit there and look at it physically and be like, okay, I need this game. And so I write a list of all the games I want to get. And then I have to look at the new games that are coming out. And then you got to, I go to each distributor. It's like, oh, this one's
Cheaper.
a little cheaper.
Yeah.
So I get the game on here, but then it's a little cheaper over here for this game. So I'm trying to balance that all out.
And then get the minimum
It just
for the free
takes me
shipping.
forever. Yeah.
Yeah. For us, it's so interesting because we're all like different in like a lot of ways, but then in even these small ways, like our store is a lot smaller. Like if I look at your retail section, I would say my retail section is maybe 2/3 of your retail section, maybe half.
Okay. I got,
Right?
dollar wise, I got about $100,000 in inventory.
In inventory.
Across.
Yeah, so we're about half.
With board games, even Games Workshop stuff.
Like all your physical
everything.
products.
Yeah.
So yeah,
exactly.
we're about half, a little bit more than half then. Like 2/3 is our cost for our inventory versus yours. And when it comes to board games, it seems like you guys, and we do this to some extent, but I think you guys do it maybe a little bit more. But you can correct me as far as like you have some titles that you're always going to keep in stock and you're going to restock them.
Yes.
And they actually take up some significant amount in your retail space. Whereas like I have a Catan section and that's in kind of Ticket to Ride.
Yep.
And those are the games that I know I always want, like maybe 2 in stock. Catan, I ordered like a case at one point because Asmodee, if you order a case, you get a little bit of bonus, or they were running a promotion at some point.
Yep.
And so I ordered a case. I'm like, I'm going to sell the Catans eventually. But then there's other titles where I just like Asmodee has their best sellers. And if you're part of that program, you have to keep 2 in stock. And that's 35 titles. We'll do those.
That's a lot right there.
Yeah, I would say like out of those 35, there's probably 10 of them that I would want 2 of.
Right,
And the other 25, I'm like, okay, fine. Some of them are cheaper. So I'm like, all right, whatever. They're like a $20 MSRP title. I'm like $25. I'll stock them. But then when our other board games, we kind of curate our section where it changes pretty often.
Okay.
And I base that off of just Facebook groups, Board Game Geek.
Right.
I'm part of like a Grant Lion Game Rec. If you guys
What's that?
wanna
What is that?
check him out on YouTube. He does games coming to retail.
Okay.
And I'm a
you talked about
Patreon, so
that.
I get to see like his behind the scenes.
A Patreon.
Yeah, I pay.
I want to be a
I pay
Patreon.
$5 a month to join, and it's totally worth it.
I just want the title.
He helps me make a lot of money for the store. Don't tell him that. No, but because like I rely on his opinion and rely on his legwork to tell me what games are coming to retail, which is awesome. Like I think really valuable.
That's a great way to find out what's coming out and get some opinions on, like Board Game Geek is a great
the hotness.
great spot to look at hot games.
So
It's pretty good.
we were talking about like trying to get your free shipping. That's one tool I use. I'm like, okay, let's see what's hot on BGG Geek and see if I can find those titles with this distributor.
Yeah.
And it'll sell. And we also sell online. So like, for example, a good example, Blood on the Clock Tower.
Yeah.
We restocked on that like 9 copies or something. They had some promotion where if you get a certain number of copies, you get a free demo copy.
Should have been 12. What are they thinking?
Yeah.
The clock.
12, that's true. Yeah, maybe it was 12. But we ordered a bunch, and I'm like, oh, man, they're all over the place now. I'm going to sit on these forever. But now they're
selling.
sold out everywhere, and now we're selling them.
Yeah.
So it's like we're okay with just
you have some
stocking
right now?
Stuff. Yeah.
Oh, can I have one?
Yeah. You need one? Yeah.
I do, actually.
Yeah. I think I have to check. I know we just sold 2. I think we might only have one more, though.
Yeah.
I have to check.
I only got a couple in, and they were like,
They're gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's super super interesting how it's like we're all a little different.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so we talked about like the product lines we carry. Let's chat about how we decide to continue some product lines or some games, and then how we decide to bring on new product lines.
Oof. For us, continue is definitely more community driven. So if a game is still, people are still coming, playing in the events, they're buying the products, we're going to continue. But if people, it's a downtrend,
right, people
aren't showing up, people aren't buying the product, then it's a pretty, I don't want to say easy, but it's pretty easy to decide like it's got to go. Yeah, like we've gotten rid of Digimon or Dragon Ball, Flesh and Blood.
No more Flesh and Blood, huh?
Yeah, no more Flesh and Blood.
All right.
Which I think
people like the game.
I think their organized play is one of the top model, because they do different promos every month.
Okay.
Which is like almost unheard of.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Like different playmat, different promo cards. I think that's, for me as a player, that's great.
Yeah. So what? So just the community.
I think the game's great, but it's a more, I think it's a higher ceiling of thinking kind of game.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So if you're not really thinking about your actions, it can hurt you real hard.
Okay.
And for me, I kind of like those kind of games. I like playing heavier board games and stuff like that. But to the general gamer, it's kind of a turnoff. I don't want to think this hard.
Right.
So it, we ended up getting rid of Flesh and Blood. And now we have the, I guess you could call it the big four. We don't do Yu-Gi-Oh at all. I don't care how big it gets. We won't do Yu-Gi-Oh.
Is Lorcana the fourth now? Or no?
Yeah, no. Well,
Pokemon
Magic, One Piece, Lorcana. I guess 5 now because Star Wars is in. Star Wars is crazy popping off. It's
5. But can you consider it a big one this early?
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. Not yet.
I feel like
I guess up and coming rookies. I guess.
I mean, Lorcana.
I feel like Lorcana can be.
No, Lorcana.
It's a big one because of the
Lorcana's gonna stay. It's Disney.
Yeah,
it's gonna be. If people aren't playing it, it's still gonna be printed because people are still collecting.
Just to collect. Showed that it was still a healthy game.
Yeah,
playing wise. Like,
I mean, there's a lot of argument on the point system. For the, what is it? It's like you only play 2 matches, and then if you win both, you get more points versus going 1.
I like that.
It's a very interesting, very new to the TCG universe of tournament structures.
But I think it's good.
But it's an interesting format, I would say.
Because you can't. A lot of people didn't like people doing intentional draws, which is very common with TCGs. But it's also very exploitative play.
It is.
Which is fine. It's part of the rules. But
they are gaming the system for sure. Yeah. Because they know if we draw, we're guaranteed no matter what.
A lot of Magic, so the intentional draw.
Yeah.
To
get top cut. Yeah.
For sure.
This is a thing.
I mean, it was part of the game.
It's part of the game.
You did it for sure.
I think for sure, for the old school TCG players, they're used to it.
Yeah.
But for the new players, of course, they're going to be like, this is bad. This shouldn't happen.
Anything new, people, hate it until they do it for a little bit.
For sure, I think what to decide. Board games, you guys already know we got rid of our board games because it wasn't doing that well for us. But yeah.
So how about you, George? What do you decide to continue with? How do you decide?
To reorder?
Yeah. To keep stock in. Yeah. It really just depends. Like if it's been sitting there for a very long time and it sells, I might not get it back in. I kind of went wide when I first opened up. And so we had so many different titles. But and then if the game isn't that great of a game, I really won't get it back. Like your personal opinion?
Not really just my personal opinion, but I look at Board Game Geek and each game is rated.
Yeah.
Through, it's a geek rating and then the site rating, so there's 2 different ratings. I do look at that. It's not a tell all for sure. There's games that aren't rated that high that sell well or play well, that people like. But I've kind of gone less wide, so I'm really concentrating on games that just are able to be resold, and most of those are 2-player games. A lot of shorter games. A lot of people aren't. We still sell like Dune Imperium, Terraforming Mars, Ark Nova, those kind of games. Those games sell pretty well, but they also don't sell that often. You get them in when they're new, you sell a bunch, and then after a while, they just sit there for a little while and sell. They sell consistently, but not great. But I find that those 2-player games, like Jalper or Splendor Duel, those things just keep selling, like constantly.
They're smaller, they're portable.
Yeah,
people travel, they can stick it with them.
Faster game, half an hour, rather than
player attention span for sure. This generation is not that high.
What would you say?
The player
attention span, just.
So I want to, because we're going quite long so far. This is a really juicy topic. So I want to get into 2 other things before we go into our convention segment, which the other one is we talked about like continuing ordering. So how do you guys decide what new product lines to bring in or what new products to carry? What kind of decision-making process do you have?
Oh, man, that's a hard one for, I guess, us. For card games, there's a lot out there now.
Yeah,
a lot of like Kickstarter stuff.
There's a lot of
self-funded
Kickstarter.
Stuff.
Maybe that would be a cool topic.
It's definitely a whole different topic for sure. So it's very hard. Like I know another one that's upcoming is Altered. People have been slowly talking about Altered. That I kind of did research on it, and I don't think that's really our cup of tea.
Is that the one that they print out?
Yeah, it's like a digital
that's cool.
NFT, I guess you can call it.
Interesting.
It's a very interesting concept. For me, upfront, I don't see it being something we would carry. But who knows? You never know.
You could have an automated printer that they throw a quarter in there. I'm sorry,
print the game.
They throw a couple dollars in there and get the card.
But then, like for Star Wars, I went to PAX. I demoed the game a few times and talked with the designers there, and I was like, I think this is a very good gameplay flow mechanic and all that stuff, and that's why we went pretty hard on it.
Yeah, I'd say like, with those kind of games, they're coming out, right? Lorcana, Star Wars. Those things are coming out. It's like everywhere in your face. But those smaller things, like for board games, like I get a list of board games that are coming out every month, and there's just so many. And there are so many different ones. I don't order 90% of them. It's like
It's a crazy market for sure.
Yeah, it's just insane. But the ones that are popular or expansions that are to popular games, you're gonna grab those. But the new ones is hard. It's hard to really like decide which out of these 200 new games that are coming out every few months to grab.
Yeah, I think that's why, like we mentioned, the Board Game Geek is super valuable tool. Facebook groups, right? What are people talking about? What game are people talking about? Except for when I get onto Facebook, I get a lot of Disney Lorcana Facebook group posts now. Because it's, Facebook, you interact with one post now, it's everything related to that group. Right. I'm like, oh no, I want some board game stuff because I need to know what to order for board games.
Just search the specific group you're looking for and go browse that.
Check it out.
Also, so when we first opened, we were doing a lot of board games. And then going to conventions where publishers demo new games coming up. Definitely was a good help to decide what to carry.
Yeah, Gamma's big for me as far as like on the horizon what games are coming out. It's tough though, like you said, with board games. There's just so many games.
It's kind of funny because about I want to say maybe 5-6 years ago, I remember mentioned I was like, man, soon there actually might be more board games than video games. I mean, it's. I don't know if it's probably not there yet because now Steam has all these little mini games coming out. Right. So it's the same idea as board games. There's all these smaller mini games coming out. It's the same concept. It's like people are just pumping and dumping all these new type of games, and then it's just a lot. You know, it's like, what do you decide? It's very hard.
Well, it's like Magic the Gathering putting out 50 different.
Yeah, because back then when board game was like, you know, getting more strategy, Euro games are coming in.
Yeah, that was
there wasn't a lot, so
exactly.
you can actually play almost every game that's coming out for the year and be like, oh, they're actually all good. I'm gonna carry all of them.
Right.
And now it's just like,
that's so true.
What's interesting too, in one way you could do it. It's not something I've done quite yet. I would like to implement, but you kind of choose which games.
Oh no, for sure,
right? Because
100%.
if you and your staff are informed on this title that's coming out, and you're like, oh, let's learn this game. I'm going to teach my staff this game. Then they like the game. It's easy for them to sell.
We used to do employee like a game night,
game picks.
Back then.
Okay.
Like, oh, this is a game that we're getting. You know, at when we have time, let's play the game.
Oh, okay.
You know, definitely for sure having to explain the game to a customer. Pitch. It's like, you know, you're a salesman almost pretty much, and you're pitching the game. You got to, you know, give a pretty quick and dirty explanation of the game.
Yeah.
And it's for the most part, when you do it, they'll usually pick it up.
Yeah.
So the last topic or last like kind of question before we head into our convention segment is, if someone approached you and they wanted you to carry their product, what goes into your decision-making process for carrying something from someone, whether it's a publisher or like a local artist or anything? I can start if you guys are,
you can
go
start.
for it.
You guys are brainstorming.
Yeah.
So my biggest thing is like when a publisher approaches me, one of my first questions is if they're in distribution. I like to know distribution margins and shipping policy. And minimum order quantity. Yeah, and so if I know those 4 things, like if it's a smaller publisher and I like their game, like personally I like their game, and the minimum order is low enough to make it under $200, it's something I can consider. Like I'm really looking for like 150, 100 if I'm ordering directly from the publisher. And so it's like if a game retails for $20, I'm happy to order 6 copies. That's $60.
Right,
I'm happy to order 12 copies. That's $120. 12 copies is kind of tough because it's like I have to sell 12 copies of this game.
Well, plus you have to have space for it too.
Yeah.
On top of it.
Space is definitely a big question.
Yeah.
Before you decide.
And then that's one other thing is not space, but how many other smaller publisher games I currently have in stock.
Right.
Because right now, like, I'm very picky because we have a lot of smaller publishing games, but we're going to Strategicon in May, and some of those games are going to make it to our promotional table, and hopefully move some of them just to like, you know, we tried them for a full year and they sat, so it's like time to move on. Yeah, you know, and it's also maybe like some publishers who are no longer really making games. They kind of like made that one game, I liked it, and said, hey, I'll support you, I'll buy the game, we'll try it out in our store. They did good margin, free shipping. I didn't have to order a lot, but we just never sold any. So now it's gonna try to move it however I can.
Okay.
This just kind of popped up in my head as we're talking about this. We get like emails and people send us little sample packets of a card game or new card game they're making, stuff like that, or emails of new board games. I don't know why, but it just now I'm just thinking about it. It's like I feel like if they're approaching me to carry the game, I don't think it's a good game. I don't know why I'm thinking it like that, but I don't know what it is.
Time out.
I don't know what it is, but I don't know why I'm thinking like that. It's kind of weird.
Wait, so if they email you, it's like this is junk, so you just
I don't know. Maybe I'm being very biased. I am definitely being very biased on this. This is like, is it not popular enough for me to
know about it already?
So if you saw it at like PAX or Strategicon being sold as at a booth, you'd be more apt to look at that game. And
well, that's different because I get to demo the game. I get to play it.
Right.
I think you're making a good point though, George, because like I think if someone were to, I would probably agree with Day, where if someone approaches me about their game and they want me to support it, I need to see some sort of authority for your game.
Right.
Show me some pictures at PAX. Let me know you've been to PAX. Let me see your website. Let me see like your Kickstarter. Like we were talking about Kickstarter pages. Let me see how many people backed your game on Kickstarter. I need some sort of authority level
I get
thing,
that.
right?
For sure.
Like
That makes sense.
Yeah, I'm not saying like it's not a good game.
It's not a
but
good game,
just,
or
it's just like
in your mind,
it's just like, what is this game?
Why
I've
you
never
coming
heard
to
of
me?
it. Why you come to me?
like this.
You know, like I appreciate those companies that send us little like demo decks for new card games, but the card games is so saturated. Also, it's it's a tough market.
That's
overall.
a really tough market.
This market is very tough to get into now.
Yeah, we get a lot of board games sent to us, or people emailing us saying, "Hey, try it. We really want to get our game in there." I don't know.
It's hard.
I see what you guys are saying, but I also feel like, it's if they're gonna send me some kind of like demo, then I say, yeah, send it to me.
Yeah,
I'll put it out. I'll see
Yeah.
how the community thinks about it. I like building from something small that maybe not so many people know about already.
Actually, when we carried board games, someone was creating it's not really a TCG, but it's a card game, and it's called Gruff. And then he already made it. It's printed. He brought his product, and he was demoing games, and then people enjoyed it, and then we did end up carrying some of it and sold it. So that's different. They come, they bring the product, they're demoing it themselves.
Yeah.
It's not I'm demoing it; it's they come in and demo it. I think that's a very huge way to get your game out there.
That's like a really good
but
point.
It's hard to get,
Well, because then if something like that happens and you sell out, you can't get more because they're not prepared to maybe
right. But
handle
that's
that
another thing with smaller publishers too. Is like, I had 4 copies of your game and I sold them all, but now I can't get more. I gotta wait like 6 months till you print again. Which I mean, it is what it is. Like it's hard to gauge it from a publisher
it's hard to
side,
know what how many they need.
One thing I'm happy to always do almost all the time is consignment. It's a little messy, but
I won't touch that.
Yeah. But for me, it's like a good example. I took on 3 copies of, I can't remember the title, but it's a dinosaur game. And I sold 1 copy, and I'm like, hey, charge me for your 3 copies. I'll just pay you now. Because I've already sold 1 copy. I'm pretty much paid for those 3 copies. Almost, 3 copies is like, that's I guess also talking about minimum order, I want to do at least 3 copies because if I do 2, I'm not really making money. I'm just trying out the game. I'm breaking even. I want to do 3 and hopefully sell at least 3 and make a little bit of money. But yeah, I think consignment for us, and then on the other end, we took on 4 copies of a game on consignment and we didn't sell a single copy. And I have these 4 copies and I reached out to him like, hey, we had your game. We've had it for, I think it was I reached out at the 9-month mark and we haven't sold any.
Right.
I'm happy to keep them in storage and bring them out to conventions and see if they sell at some conventions. And then I can let you know then. And it's like, okay, yeah, do that. But I kind of just want to get rid of these 4 copies.
It puts more work on you with consignment. There's too much, I already have too much to do.
Here's the thing about consignment. They're renting your retail space for free, essentially.
I guess this one, I learned my lesson with this one because they're not local. I think I'm happier to do consignment with someone local. They can come by.
Yeah, local is definitely easier for sure.
Or someone I know I'm going to see at Strategicon every year, they do Strategicon 3 times a year. Maybe they're there every time.
Yeah.
But I think that's just the big thing is some sort of brand authority, like something to show that you are going to be around. I can trust to get more copies. I can know that you're pushing your game.
Yeah, it's worth it for me to carry it.
Yeah,
definitely.
Cool. So let's go into our convention segment. All right, for today's convention segment, we're talking about our website and maybe some other general updates. We do have a website. YouTube does not allow us to post links in the description, so subscribe. We need 100 subscribers. Please subscribe so we can post some links.
We're almost there.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Wait, I haven't subscribed yet.
Oh, come on, George. That would be one more. We'd be another % of the way there. We're at like 49% or something.
All right.
But yeah, our website is lfg-con.com. We'll have it in the description at some point in our future videos. I think you can search LFGCon on like Instagram or TikTok, and you should be able to find the link on either of those profiles as well. But we are working to get the site improved. We have a little landing page up.
Yep. A nice facelift is coming.
Yeah. we talked to like a front end designer, a back end designer. Yeah. We created our staff Discord channel to kind of communicate a little bit better, collaborate easier with everyone involved.
Things are starting to roll.
Yeah. So it's May.
It's May. So
when this episode comes out, it's like May
2025
or something. So we have like
2024.
13 months. 13 months and 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other updates about the website? I think we just by the time this comes out, it might already have the facelift.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah,
we told you about our logo last time, and we're having a little upgrade to the logo, which is kind of fun. Some color schemes that we're coming up with, and and some content for that webpage too. We're going to slowly roll out stuff. Keep checking back.
Check out
events, special guests, whatnot as it comes in.
Food trucks we're talking about maybe.
Oh yeah. It's good. Always good to have some good food while you're at a convention.
Yeah.
Awesome. So that's our quick convention update for this episode. Thank you all for tuning in and listening, and we'll see you next time.
All right.